Hey, what's going on? This is PKJ, Pastor Kendrick Jones. We back, baby. It is Thursday, April 14, 2011. And you know what today is. If you don't know, I think I'm going to let you know. Today is Throwback Thursday. On Throwback Thursday, what do? Throwback Thursday, we come to tell you a throwback story from my childhood. So just in case you didn't know, now you know. You better ask somebody. Well, here we go. This story happened when I was about 12 years old. I was still living in Eudora at the time, but my dad lived here, and we would come visit him during the summer, me and my brothers. And so when we would come during the summer, there would be a day camp that we would go to that was sponsored by the North Little Rock Boys Club in North Little Rock, Arkansas. And so when we would go there to this day camp, it would be way out in the country, and I got exposed to a lot of things that I wouldn't have gotten exposed to had I not gone to that camp. Because this piece of property that we would go to, it had a big old pond out there, had a bunch of fields out there where we played baseball, kickball, football, you name it. And so capture the flag, all that stuff. I don't know if y'all remember that. But man, we would have so much fun. And so we enjoyed it. But one of the things that I got exposed to that I wish that I would have never gotten exposed to was the dipping of Skoal. I'm going to explain to you why I wish I'd have never got exposed to that. For those of you who don't know what Skoal is, S-K-O-A-L. Skoal is shredded tobacco that is in like a round can, like you have those 100-calorie mints, whatever you have them in. You would take the Skoal and you would put it like in your lip right there. And I would see these cats doing it, and some of the cats that I would see doing it were like younger cats. I'm like, why do y'all do that? And you spitting all day. And they say, you just do it just to do it. You know? And plus, it gave them a little buzz, too. And so, man, I'm like... And so I would see these guys doing it, and then, you know, I say, that's for white folk. Because most of the folk out there, they didn't look like me. So I'm like, that's for white folk. But then I happened to see two of the older guys who were junior counselors. They were brothers. And I saw them doing it. I said, well, they doing it, man. I think that's why they do it. Just doing it just to do it. The director of the camp, he saw me getting ready to do it. His name was Mr. Rich, Larry Rich. What's going on, Mr. Rich? Big up to you. And he said, boy, if you get some of that Skoal, I'm going to break your back and then tell your daddy. For those of you who might know Mr. Rich, you know that's exactly what he would have said. And so I had a double whammy. I said, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Big money, big money, big money. I waited until Mr. Rich was nowhere around. And I asked somebody for a pinch of Skoal. I got the Skoal, and as I was getting my little pinch of Skoal, getting ready to put it in my lip, they told me, don't swallow the juice. I'm like, what? Don't swallow the juice? They say, don't swallow the juice. Okay, man, I won't swallow the juice. So I took the Skoal, put it right there in my lip. So, you know, I'm out there batting. I'm running, playing kickball, doing all these things. Then, after a while, I got tired of spitting. I said, man, I'm tired of spitting. Plus, I'm thirsty, too. I'm going to swallow this juice. What'd I do that for? Man, I swallowed that juice, got on that bus, came back to the city, and as we ride back to the city, you have to go through some terrain, some rough terrain. Bus bouncing up and down. And my belly is shaking. I'm starting to get a headache. Stomach is balling up in knots. And man, now as dark as I am, I turn green, I turn red, I turn white, I turn purple, I turn polka dot, I turn checkered, I turn striped. Man, I turned all kinds of colors. And it was hot out there too. Boy, and it was hot on that bus. You know, they ain't had no air conditioning on the bus. By the time we got back to the boys club, I was laid out. Everybody else off the bus, and folk back there laughing because they knew what was going on. And I'm the last one on the bus. Mr. Rich came back on the bus, getting ready to clean the bus off, and he see me back there. He said, "Jones, get yourself off this bus." And so I'm scared of Mr. Rich, right? Everybody's scared of Mr. Rich. I jump up real quick, but then my stomach started rolling. It felt like, you know how you used to do the belly dance, you know, when we used to do break dancing. It felt like my stomach did that about 1,500 times just in the moment that I stood up. And Mr. Rich looked at me, he said, "Man, you all right?" And then all of a sudden, I couldn't hold it no more. I said, "Blah!" Mr. Rich jumped out the way just in time. He said, "Man, get off this bus." I got off the bus, blah! Walking to the boys club, blah! Got in the building, blah! Went in the bathroom, blah! Came out the bathroom, blah! Went back in the bathroom, blah! Man, all this, man, everything I ate for the past 15 days came out of me after I swallowed that stuff. Because, man, everything came out of me. So what's the moral of the story? To Nash yourself, Cadrick. Moral of the story is this. You can't do what everybody else does. As a child of God, God has set you apart and made you holy. And your body is a temple of His Holy Spirit. And everything that you put in it has to come into contact with the Spirit of God. And don't you know that when you try to do stuff to try to fit in and try to get along, the Holy Spirit is not going to allow you to be comfortable. He's going to make you so uncomfortable to at some point you're going to have to regurgitate that stuff. Mr. Rich told me not to do it, but I tried to wait until he wasn't looking. But then I still had the same effects. See, when God calls us to be holy, holiness is not a matter of doing it when we think God is looking, or when we think other people are looking, or people in authority are looking. Holiness is based upon us doing what's right, regardless of what's going on, regardless of who sees us. Because watch this, the eyes of the Lord are going throughout the earth, beholding both the good and the evil. And so when we try to do that which we are not called to do, that which God has told us not to do, we are going to end up regurgitating it, whether we think God sees us or not, whether anybody else sees us or not, because the Spirit of God on the inside of us will make us uncomfortable. Second moral is, God has made a standard for what is right and what is not right. And when we try to mix the profane with the holy, when we try to mix that which is of the world with that which is of God, it makes God sick. Because he says in Revelation chapter 3, he says, "I wish that you were hot or cold." He said, I would rather you be all the way wicked than to try to be both wicked and holy at the same time. He said, that makes me sick to my stomach. And because it's sick to my stomach, I'm going to blah you out. Look, I don't want God to blah me out. I want God to let me stay on the inside of Him. Let me abide in Him, because He said if I abide in Him and His word abides in me, then I can ask whatever I want to and it will be given unto me. And so I need to stay in the presence of God. And so I refuse to keep holding on to stuff that is making me sick, because if it's making me sick, it's making God sick. And I don't want to make God sick, because I want to stay in Him, because it's in Him I live, move, and have my being. Check this out. This is Helen Jones' second son saying life is too short to play games, so keep it real. 2 fingers to the north. We out of here, Daddy. Pow!